Because I mean, say, I think it's in Heaven's Falling, there's like, in the space of say 30 seconds, you go from the heaviest riff possible all the way down to acoustic guitar solo and sort of a techno-y breakdown type section. It's really varied. And
that was the end.
Yeah, basically.
Can you explain a little bit, because we were talking before, can you explain a little bit about the songwriting work? Are you both doing that, and how does a song come into being until an idea of yourself is finished?
I'd say it does depend on the song. I mean, sometimes Lloyd will come in with an idea and we're working it together, or we just, I mean, occasionally, I remember it was on Into the Infinite especially, we just met up one day and we were just jamming a few riffs and seeing what happened, and we came up with that whole song, really. Yeah. But then,
but like other times, like Rich has come in with like, I remember kind of coming home one day and Rich was like, I've done this fantastic song and it was Existence, pretty much note for note as it is in the record. And you know, just working with like that kind of talent is just like, you kind of sitting there kind of going, I'm not going to change that in any way, shape or form. That is amazing. And you just think, yeah, song done. You know, there's no need to change this in any way. Let's just start recording.
But that's mostly musically, and then lyrically, it's either one of us comes in with an idea and then we'll work on it together. So like someone has a few lines and then we'll fill it out together and end up with a whole song. So that's generally how it works on the writing.
You got a contract with Time Divide Records. How did that came, and it must be great for a young band to have.
It really was. Just, I mean, like I think like hopefully that people won't notice is that this whole album was written by teenagers. Because like me and Rich have only recently turned 20, and you know,
and some of these songs are a few years old.
I know, like we wrote
when we were 16 or 17.
The last track on the album, Demise of the Fifth Son, was written when we were 17, 18.
Finished when we were 17.
Finished when we were 17, yeah. And I think there's a lot of people have the connotation with prog rock and prog metal that it's kind of you've got to be at least 30, 40 to
it's sort of old people metal in a way.
Exactly. You've got to have you got to really appreciate it. And you've got to sit down and really listen. But I'm hoping that a lot of other people can get really involved in this because hopefully they'll realise that it wasn't written by a load of an older generation, when hopefully we're going to re-engage a new genre and generation of metal listeners.
That's really because we feel it's sort of everyone can find something within this music, and that's how we ended up with the record label, because it was actually a label that my father set up to because he wanted to try, because he liked our music so much. And I mean, obviously he's going to be slightly biased because it's me, but he really liked the music and he wanted to get it available to as many people as possible. So he actually set up his own record company and publishing company so that we would be able to get our music out to people and try and go somewhere with it.
Because I think there's a lot of bands at the moment that you could you go. I've been going to a lot of gigs recently, and you hear some amazing unsigned acts. And just the sheer talent they've got is astonishing.
But they don't know how to progress,
because they think, okay, what I'll do is I'll record a record, I'll spend a load of money on recording, and then I'll get signed. And then it's that real big gap in between the two that a lot
from recording to signing. It's sort of what happens in between there,
and it's usually not an easy step of the fact that you come out the record studio, there's a guy from EMI or any other record company kind of going, oh look, I'll gladly invest in you look like amazing people. But you get a lot of bands that are just so ready to show the world what they can do, but they just don't see the next step. And I think that's what
it's been really helpful with having that label set up, because we've been able to find out things about how the industry works and try and get inside it all and figure out what is best for us to do and where to go from here.
Do the things like a label.
And that means we can focus more on the music and make the music as good as we can, because we don't have to worry so much. I mean, obviously there's still, nothing's simple, but
Definitely.
But we don't have to worry so much about what I mean, what's going to happen once this is released. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
We can focus more on the band and things sounding good and getting how we want. I'd say.
I guess a good support from your dad is
just support from anyone. I mean, like it's funny, like you've had so much support, but you know, you have the littlest amount of support from some people. Just like even like a pleasant comment on the MySpace. You know, just the little glimmers of people kind of going, "That is amazing," and you just think, "Thank you." You know, that's what you really want to say to anyone.
Just spread the word and try and get it out there as much as we can. Really.
It really is. That's what it's about.
Yeah, you mentioned it before. Different famous singers like Andy from Silent Call, Andreas Novak from Mind's Eye, or Niels K. Rue from Pagan's Mind and Eidolon, and many more were on this album. How did that came to be a part of Mind's Portrait?
It was a joke, wasn't it? Really?
well, in a way.
I mean, you don't meet those people or met those people on the street and telling them, "Hey, come on, sing on my album." It was funny because we started writing the album, and it got to the point where Rich, I remember talking to Rich on the phone one day, and he said, "Wouldn't it be cool if we could get, Niels on one of our songs?" I was like, "Yeah, because that will happen." It was very much a case of that'd be that'd be fantastic, but surely.
But is it doable?
Yeah, and then you approached it through the MySpace.
Yeah, I actually just sent out emails to quite a few singers, just seeing who was interested, who would want to be a part of this project. And at the time we had, obviously things weren't finished. We didn't have completed songs, and we just had samples up on our website of just different songs, and they could hear bits and pieces here and there. And fortunately for us, we had these amazing singers come back and say that they'd be interested in singing for us, and that's more or less how it came about. And it was just because it's mostly about the music, and they're really passionate about what they do, and if the songs are good, then they don't mind associating themselves with that, and they want to be a part of it.
I think that's what I quite like about progressive rock as a genre, though, is the fact that it's a very supportive genre. Like, whereas you listen to a lot of singer-songwriters, and there does seem to be a sort of a jealousy, a feud, because I want to get the one better up.
Well, I mean, like, say you've got the whole Metallica Megadeth feud and all that, and it's like with this sort of music, you find everyone sort of gets together, and
it's mean like every,
and it's like a real community.
It's like one drummer from one band's playing with another band, and then another singer from that band is using in that band, and like you have there are so many solo projects, and they come together for one band and then another band, and I feel that's why I'm really glad that we're in progressive rock, is because it's such a supportive genre. And I think if we just did a standard rock album, or maybe any other genre, there's no sense of one-upmanship. There's no sense.
And the people that listen to it really care about the music. You do get some sort of casual fans that will listen to it here and there, but generally I'd say the type of fans that listen to our music either love it and they're really into it.
Definitely.
So but actually it's quite funny with a couple of these singers, because I've actually seen them playing gigs before, and it was actually, I went to Sheffield in April 2008 it was, and I saw Pagan's Mind supporting Sonata Arctica.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was just really weird because after Pagan's Mind finished playing, they were all like standing at the back of the arena watching Sonata Arctica, and I just sort of like sheepishly went up and said hi, and I was like, oh, they have no idea who I am and all this sort of thing. And then sort of a few months later, there he is on my album, and it's like,
so it's like an honor.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is.
Could they hear the result until yet, and what did they say?
They actually all really enjoyed the songs. we haven't actually. I think in a few days we're going to be sending them the final album. But yeah, the reaction's been really positive actually so far.
I guess they will be amazed because I could hear before your dad sent
but also because the versions that these singers and guitarists, keyboard players that have guested on the album,
on the final,
all that they've heard is it even had different drum sounds and things on the version that they recorded to.
It's very much like guide tracks and not the finished article yet.
And it's been like completely redone since they've heard it.
Yeah, it really has.
So I think sort of when I've sent them the finished versions, it's sort of completely different and well,
So you're a little bit thrilled as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess it
it's
will
much
be
more impressive and
there will be good answers.
Exactly, yeah.
That's for sure. What about concerts or a tour in the future? Have you thought about that?
Recently we have put together a live band that is currently in rehearsal.
Presented by the Metal Underground website.